Alright, for this video I want to take a look at multi-view sketching and some of the techniques that you would need to consider when using multi-view sketching. And one thing is to show some different components dealing with students. So very similar to when you're drawing, I utilize the glass box technique for isometric sketching, oblique, and perspective, and I utilize it again when we use it in multi-view. So when we start looking at multi-view sketching, first thing I want to start with is the front view. So the front view always shows up down here. I'm going to identify a point to start from on my sketch. And the front view is always, when you're looking at this from an isometric view, top, front, right side. So the front is going to end up having this face right here, and it's going to communicate the width and the height. So I'm going to set up a glass box from the point I established. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in width. So I'm going to go ahead and establish that width. So light construction lines for this, I do allow my students to use a ruler just to kind of help maintain some straight lines and something called what I call alignment. So here for the height, 7 in height, and then I go ahead and enclose. This will end up giving me the glass box for the front view. So, and usually what I'll have my students do when they're first learning multi-views is I'll go ahead and have them label this is the front view. So now if I want to look to go to transfer to the top view shows width and depth. Well, if I look at this, I'm going to leave about 5 grid squares of separation between. So I'm going to start the top view here. It's going to be the same width as my front view. So I can use those points just by lining up with my ruler. And then the depth is 5. And I can go ahead and establish my glass box for the object. So since this one kind of runs in between, I'll put top up here. And then for my right side view shows depth and height. So in this case, 5 squares of separation is usually what I like to keep it at. It's going to be the same height. And we already know we've got 5 squares of depth to show for our boxes. Okay, so one thing is this, to really drive home to students, is this is the way that multi-view drawings are created. This is third angle projection. So this is the front view is always in this spot, top view is always in this spot, right side is always in this spot. So always in this pattern. So they will always show up here. And the other thing is too is that like here, so notice that the heights line up together between the front and right side view, the widths line up between the top and the front view, and then actually, so from, if you were to project this over, so this would be, and if you made the turn, the depths would be matching for the top and the right side view. So all these views share a dimension with another, so then that way that they all have what they call alignment. So what I always tell my students is if you line this up, they should be lined up together. Okay, easiest one to do is take care of the front view. So this has got a width of 2, this has got a height of 2, and they're going to come together to make an L shape for the front. Then I can go ahead and darken around the outside edges as well to create my object lines for the part. So there would be the front view being showcased there. Top view, so the thing is from this corner, this goes all the way back, so this is going to line up that feature. There will be that one, it goes all the way from front to back. And then the rest of this, as far as what faces I'm going to see on that top view, I'm going to see this rectangular face, and it's going to take up the entire width of the top view box. Okay, as I start to take a look over, so I'm seeing these two shapes show up in the top view. I'm seeing this L shape show up in the front view. As far as this one goes, right side view, I'm going to see this little thin rectangle, and I'm going to see this rectangle up above the top. So if I transfer over, this will have the same height as what it does in the front view. And then the rest of it will be the entire height, outline, and this should finish out the object for the multi-view sketch. So very simple object, but a good one to start with, and to kind of drive home a lot of the considerations of where do the views line up and how they line up, and then also where are they placed in a multi-view sketch.